Okay, so Jim, I have to tell you, Parks and Rec is probably one of my all-time favorite shows. I absolutely loved the cast. Everyone worked so perfect together. Uh, how did you get involved in such an incredible ensemble cast?
I call it a miracle. Let me tell you, man, because getting cast in anything when you're an actor, especially in LA, is next to impossible. Truly next to impossible. So, I originally went in for the role of Ron Swanson, which, imagine anybody other than Nick
No,
Offerman playing. I mean, we can't. It makes
no.
no sense. But at the time, it was such a hot property. It was when I first was brought to it, it was called the Untitled Amy Poehler Project. And so, and not only did it have Amy Poehler attached, but the network had given it a series order, which is almost unheard of. Like there was no pilot. So your agents are like, this is a good show to get in on. And so the word was around town that this was happening. And so my people got me in. And, but I'll be honest, man, that my goal, I never in a million years thought I would get a role on the show. I just wanted to impress Mike Schur and Greg Daniels so that they would keep me in mind in the future when this show is casting a guest star or something. I just wanted to do a good job for them. So I went in, I did my version of Ron Swanson, whatever mess that probably was. And we had a good conversation and whatever, life went on. And I left there thinking, okay, good. I did what I wanted to do, which was to, put a smile on their face. I think they think I did okay. And hopefully I'll hear from them down the road. And then like 2 weeks later, my agent called and said, they want to see you for this role of Jerry, which did not even exist. They had to write material for the audition. Jerry and Donna, who was played by Retta, Donna
Yeah.
Meagle, did not exist. And so they created this material, and I show up for that audition. And normally when I go to an audition, I'm going to be up against my guys. And by that, I mean big guys, like my type. That's just how they do it. But I show up for this audition, Amanda, and it is tall, thin, fat, short, black, white. I mean, it was across the board. So, I'm like, oh, damn, they don't know what they want. They have not figured out this character, which is a little terrifying because now there's a lot more options they have. But
Yeah.
whatever miracle happened, I do like to say when I was in that audition, I brought up Steve Carell because Steve Carell was on The Office and they had been doing The Office with him. And I always think it's good to chat about something you all have in common. And the last job I had done in Chicago, the last voice job I had done was with Steve Carell, and it was either Miller Beer or some beer commercial. And so I think there was a little in. And I've since seen Steve, a number of times, but I did a film he did called Seeking a Friend for the End of the World. And I was like, dude, I think I might owe you for the fact that I'm on Parks and Recreation. And who knows how it all played out. But so in this book, I tell all these kind of stories. And the casting director gives her version of how we all got cast. And Mike and Greg, because, Retta and I, again, who played Don Amigo, we always thought we were being fired because we were not hired as series regulars. We were just going to be these people that were going to fill the
Yeah.
office. And at the time, my agents, and they did this out of concern for me, but they said to me, you might not want to do this. You might want to turn this down. And I was like, what are you talking about? And they said, because they're telling us might just feel like a background player. And there's nothing wrong with being a background player. But at that point in my career, I was doing a lot of different things.
Yeah.
But for me, Amanda, it was a no-brainer because I'm like, look what happened to those background players on The
Oh,
Office. Like,
yeah.
your Kevins and your Phyllis and
Yeah.
I mean, it was a no-brainer. And so thankfully, the same thing that happened to the people on The Office happened to Retta and I on Parks. And the people on The Office, I love them all. I love that show. I've seen every episode 100 times. But they would tease me because Jerry, my character, ended up with a storyline
Oh,
on season 2 before I was even officially a series regular. And they're like, it took us 4 seasons to get a storyline and, stuff like that. So there was a lot of fun back and forth. But yeah, so that miracle is how I ended up on Parks and Recreation.
well, and you were kind of the target for everyone at the office there in the office, I should say. And I think it is so incredible that the show writers were like, by the way, you're going to be the whipping boy for all of the jokes, but Christy Brinkley is going to be your wife.
Exactly. Well, there's a talking head where Ron Swanson played by Nick Offerman, says every office needs a schlemiel and a schlemazel. Jerry's both at our office. So that set the tone for what the situation was. And Mike said the writers had so much fun coming up with terrible things to do to Jerry. He's finally like, okay, if we're going to keep this character around, we got to give him reason to live. Like, what the hell at this point? And that's when they came up with the fact that his wife would be played by, at the time we just said a Christy Brinkley type, never thinking we would get Christy Brinkley. But it turned out to be Christy Brinkley. And then Jerry had these 3 gorgeous daughters who thankfully looked like their mother. But Jerry ultimately had the best life of any of them. He really did have the best life. So he got his due. You know, it was all good.
Oh, and you played it so perfectly. My God, I don't know if there's a more lovable character that's ever been played on TV where you just, at the end of the show, you're laughing at all the things that happened to you, but you're also like, come here, buddy. I'm gonna give you a hug.
Exactly. And you know what's interesting is, you know, with social media, you know, like Amy Poehler, she does very little social media. Though I should put out there for everybody, she started a TikTok account that is so adorable that it's just, you got to check it out. But she would be like, you know, they could be so mean on social media. And it happens to everybody. But I will tell you, I almost never, ever get any bad stuff because I don't know if people are like, well, he was such a sweet character. They think it's me, which it isn't. But it really, they just think he's been through enough. So they do not go at me on social media. It's nothing but love for Jerry Gergich.
So in your book, Welcome to Pawnee, Stories of Friendship, Waffles, and Parks and Rec, which is just a fantastic title. I mean, what can we expect it to read?
The timing of this was because the 10th anniversary is coming, that we were off the air. So that was the reason this all started. But what it turned into that I didn't even know it was going to turn into is stories that people will have never heard. And the reason I know that is because I've never heard them. I interviewed the creators and the cast, and I learned things that I did not know. And Amanda, I was there for every episode. So I know if I'm learning things, I know that the fans of the show are going to learn things. And there's also, there's over 60 pictures people have never seen before. And I'm going to use a term that just makes me cringe as an adult man, but I'm going to use it, Amanda. This book is, here we go. It's my love letter to Parks and Recreation. And I know that's such kind of I know. You know, get the bag, spit up into the bag. Don't do it on your clothes. But it turned out that's exactly what it is. We still, to this day, the cast, we have this thing called the Parks Family Text. We're still in each other's lives all the time. Chris Pratt had a new baby a couple of weeks ago, so it was all about baby Ford. It was a special gift. I've been on a lot of shows over the years to the point where somebody recently said to me, I loved you on Criminal Minds. I said, I didn't do Criminal Minds. She goes, yes, you did. I go, no, I don't think I did. I did. Like, I literally... And again, that's a good thing. It means I'm out there a lot. And I'm forgetting half the stuff I've done. But this show is special, and the fact that we're still out there this many years later, and we're not just kind of out there. We're still out there.
Yeah.
We're on television stations. We're streaming.
Yes.
And the fans, we keep finding a new fan base. I did a book signing last night, and there was this girl, she was 14 and her best friend was 16, and they were just so effusive about how exciting. And so it just keeps finding a new audience, and that's a gift. It certainly has been a gift for me. And the only one I worry about is I don't know whatever did happen to Chris Pratt. Has anyone heard from him?
He kind of went under the radar there for a while.
I'm a little I should send him a message. I'm concerned.
It's because he was untalented and not very handsome at all.
And not funny. Not a bit funny.
God, no, not at all.
No. And I'm sorry, when you're given nothing, then you're going to disappear. Sorry.
Jim, I want to spend the rest of the day chatting with you. I just adore you. Thank you so much for your time. I cannot wait for this book to be under my Christmas tree. I'm dropping very subtle hints to everyone. So.
Amanda, thank you so much. And again, you look unbelievable for 7 o'clock in the morning.
You are so kind. Thank you so much. All my love to you. Have a great week. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Amanda. Bye-bye.